Hey, good morning. Robin here from Durban Surf Ski. I'm en route to the Revo Kayaks Gordons Bay Winter Series race in Cape Town, and it's a little grey and cold outside, hence the woolen hat. But I thought I'd take a moment on this drive just to share my thoughts on the Revo Kayaks R3. If you saw my last review on the R1, you'd have known that last week I spent about 10 days up in Durban and spent quite a bit of time with the Revo guys, and I got to race and pedal the R1, and check out my review on that. Have a look at my website, durbansurfski.com. Facebook page is up there as well, and yeah, and I think it's been spread around the Facebook quite a bit as well. Check out the relative Revo Facebook pages. But I got occasion to pedal the R3 as well, and the R3 is Revo's entry-level surf ski. So I got my hands on one. I went down and took it for a pedal. It was after hours, so it was pitch black in the middle of the night. So I took it down to Durban Harbour, which was dead flat. It was like a mirror, so I really can't comment on any of the boat's rough water capabilities. But let me share my thoughts about the boat. The first thing, the boat's appearance, when you look at it, it looks like a Revo. It's got the classic dreadnought bow, it's got the Revo graphics, it's a Revo, it looks fantastic. If you look at it from the side though, if you look closely, what does jump out is it has very, very little rocker. Most of the Revos that I've known have got significant rocker. This boat's the other way. It's from the nose through to the cockpit. There's almost got zero rocker, and there's a little bit of rocker kind of from under your seat back to the tail of the boat. So that was the first thing that jumped out at me. I don't want to comment on what these different features do for the boat, but that's just what I noticed. The other thing that I noticed is when I flipped the boat upside down, the V that's at the bow of the boat, the part that cuts into the water, that V runs quite strongly all the way back to your feet. So most surf skis tend to round out. This keeps a really deep V right back till under your feet, and that V kind of merges in with the rails. And the rails on this boat are significant. Whereas the R1 had zero rails, this had a hard edge. The R3 has really pronounced significant rails that are sticking out of the boat. Quite remarkable. Yeah, so that's what I kind of realized on the boat physically. I threw the boat in the water, I jumped in the boat, and what I noticed also kind of immediately is the widest part of the boat is not up at the rails as you would expect, but actually kind of halfway between the water surface, between the surface of the water and the top of the rail where you would catch with the pedal. The boat actually bulges out a little bit there, so the widest point is a little bit further down. It had no effect on my catch whatsoever. Boat's got a really narrow catch, and that bulbous thing was just something different, and I think it contributes to its stability. So I comment on its stability. What I realized when I paddled this boat is I'm the wrong person to be talking about the stability of this boat. I paddle elite level boats. My stability, I think, is pretty good, which means I get to a point on the stability scale where everything feels stable to me. I can no longer sense the subtleties of stability at the more stable end of the surf ski range. So all I can say is that this boat is very, very stable. I can't tell you if it's more or less stable than boat X, Y, or Z, but to me it felt rock solid, and I think you'd have to try pretty darn hard to fall out of this boat. Yeah, this is a stable boat. Paddling, I got into the boat and paddled, and it has a strange feeling, which is something that's synonymous with Revo. It always feels different. And this boat, the first couple of strokes, as you pull off, it feels sticky. It feels like you're not actually getting going, which was kind of odd. But the moment the boat gets up to speed, and I'm talking about just beyond 5 k's an hour, so within 3 or 4 strokes, that stickiness releases and the boat just glides along beautifully. It took very little effort for me to hold the boat at 10.5 k's an hour, which I think is going to be the paddling speed of most people who will be enjoying the R3 in flat water. Just cruise along at 10.5 k's an hour. I got it up to 11 with slightly more effort, and it could just stay there, just cruised along effortlessly. Really nice glide. And a bit more effort, and I got it to 12 without a problem. And again, it was smooth at 12. And I think, again, difficult to quantify, but I was probably putting similar effort in to go at 12 as I was putting in to get the R1 to go at about 12.5. No mass, that's completely gut feel. So maybe half a k an hour difference, maybe a little less, between the R1, the out-and-out racing machine, which I know is super fast, and this boat. So that tells me this boat's got a turn of speed. There's also a video on the internet of a sprinter taking this boat up to just under 20 k's an hour top speed on flat water. So this boat is no slouch. It really goes. I think they've got a nice combination of speed and stability here, which is something that every surf ski manufacturer is going for. What else did I pick up? I picked up that when I got into this boat, I didn't feel like I was getting into a beginner ski. I didn't feel like I was getting into a barge or a fishing ski. I felt like I was getting into a race boat, which was really cool. But I didn't have the instability of a race boat. It is lively off its center line, as all the Revos are. That's not instability. It's twitchy around its middle line, just for a couple of degrees, and it gives it the feeling that this boat wants to go. That the moment it rolls off its center line, just a tiny bit, this stability kicks in and it's rock solid. So it kind of rewards a little bit of body movement, a little bit, you get a connection with the ski. You don't feel like you're a passenger on top of a raft. You feel like you're the pilot of a boat that's one with you, but you don't have the instability that often comes with that feeling. This boat is rock solid. It's really, really stable. It paddled beautifully. It's superbly comfortable. The seating position is quite a bit higher than the feet, which makes it really, really comfortable. Probably definitely the most comfortable Revo, and they're all comfortable. It's got the classic Revo cockpit. I really like this boat. I'd love to get it in a blow. I haven't had that joy, but overall this is a boat that goes. It's quick, I think, for its stability category. I think it's probably going to be quicker than most boats in its category. Again, I've nothing to test that again, so that's complete hearsay. Really stable, feels like a race boat. In fact, that might be something to highlight, is if you are coming from the more stable boats in the market, so by that I mean probably the Fendt Bluefin, the Epic V8, the Carbonology Cruise, I would say this boat is not as stable as those boats, but again, that level of stability is a bit lost on me. But it doesn't feel as beginnerish as those boats. So it's a nice stepping stone between the beginner boats and the elite boats, because it gives you an elite boat feel without penalizing you with that stability where you'll lose your confidence from falling out. So it's a lovely bridging boat, and I actually think it's a boat you'll get in and race happily and never want to change, even if you're a pretty competent paddler. I think this is going to be an absolute winner for Revo. I think they've produced a fantastic boat, and I think if you're a swordfish, bluefin, V10 Sport kind of guy, I think you really want to check out this R3. You may find that it could be a little quicker, hearsay, and it's certainly a lot more novel and a different way of doing things. So if there is an R3 in your neck of the woods and you're that kind of paddler, do yourself a favor, check it out. It's a pretty cool boat. I really enjoyed it. Robin from Durban Surf Ski, those are my thoughts on the R3, and I'm heading off to race right now in some pretty chilly weather. Let's hope it works out pretty well. Thanks, guys.